It wasn't pretty tonight, but they got the job done. And we'll welcome in Cerrone Battle, who joins us right now. Cerrone, last time we talked, everybody wanted to blame Jayson Tatum for the failures of the team. And since then, he has had back-to-back games with 33 points. Not just the story of tonight, but just catching up from the last game to 2 games later. Here they are, up 3-1, heading back to Boston with a chance to close it out.
Yeah, man, and we're real quick. What's going on, Joe, Skaz? How you guys doing? But yeah, I mean, that last time we talked, everybody was getting on Tatum a lot. But tonight he duplicated literally every single thing he did in the last game, even down to the free throws. 9 for 9, 9 for 9 again. 11 for 25, 11 for 25. Points, rebounds, almost identical. Jaylen Brown's his numbers almost identical this game as they were last one. And every man almost had the same exact performance, good and bad. Al Horford and Derek White, missing the shots. But, they came out, they brought the energy. I thought the Cavs defend. I think they were better defensively. It might not have looked like it in stretch, but I think one thing Donovan Mitchell isn't, and that's a defender. And with them playing Dean Wade, I thought they were better defensively. They made the Celtics play slow in the second half. But, like you said, man, when you were opening the show, they closed in the fourth quarter. We all wondered what that would look like. Can they do it? They haven't been tested late in games. It was cut to 3 or 5 or something like that. And Tatum and Brown, they got to the line, made their free throws, made key shots, key rebounds, and they closed them out. This is what you wanted to see. So I think all in all, it was a good effort by this team tonight.
Do you think we can give them credit for the win because Donovan Mitchell didn't play tonight? And the turnovers and the struggles late in the game and just, having a 15-point lead and then the Cavs come back. I mean, to me, this is a road game that's a tough one to win, right? Win back-to-back on the road. Again, I understand that without Mitchell tonight, this thing could have been a little cleaner. They probably could have won by a bigger margin. But escaping the win, that's the most important thing. Gritty teams do it. They didn't cave. Normally, they lose these type of games, right? How many times have we said they would have lost a game like this last year? I think they hold off the shorthanded Cavs. And how many times do you see it? A player is out on the other team and the rest of the team kind of steps up. This was a clutch game tonight. They haven't played a clutch game since April 5th. That was against Sacramento. And they're 18-7 now on their last 25 road playoff games. And 1 win away from the Eastern Conference Finals. So whether you didn't like the way they played in the second half, because nobody played well in the second half, they came away with a win. People, I think, are finding things to complain about.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to. Here's the thing. When superstars are out, another professional steps in. And for stretches, they were, like we said many times, in order to beat the Celtics team, something extraordinary has to happen. You have to do something statistically that you normally don't do. And in the first half of this game, they hit 11 threes. That's why they stayed in the game. It was still down, but the Cavs hit 11 threes. Max Strus was like 5 out of 6 or something like that in the first half. They hit 11 threes. They took 25 threes, only 24 twos. They were just firing away and everything was going in. That's how they stayed in it. This is what happens around the NBA. Stars are out a lot of games in the NBA nowadays. Mitchell, he only played 55 games, so they're used to playing without him. And when the star is out, your defense is raised up because you have a better defender on the court, and everybody is now involved. The ball movement, the ball skipping around. Guys that normally would pass on certain opportunities are now shooting. That's why they had 26 assists tonight. That wouldn't have happened if Mitchell was on the court. So they were missing their main guy, but everybody else stepped up. Garland, I think, played an amazing game, especially in the second half. But the Celtics, even with all those things going right for the Cavs, they still slowed it down and said, no, let's close these guys out. And every time it looked like they were over with, Celtics said, no, let's close them out again. And they kept doing it. And you have to give them credit for it. Not only last year, Joe, they were losing these games this season. They lost to this Cavs team the exact same way earlier in the season. So it was good to see them close it out. And it was real important for them to do it. And you got to give them credit for that.
So I've been accused of being a Jayson Tatum defender. I think you're.
Same here.
You might have got thrown into that mix. I know Skaz is already.
We're all in the same. We're all in it together, man.
Again, we were reacting to a game too where I just didn't think Tatum was the issue. I don't think Tatum and Brown have played awful at all in the series. And I know that Tatum's not where he is, right? We know his struggles are there from 3-point land, but he bounced back at 33 points back-to-back games. Just looking away from him for a minute, Jaylen Brown has been absolutely outstanding. He might have been the best player in their previous game. And tonight, despite the turnovers, I think Tatum and Brown struggled with turnovers tonight because I do think that when they can't find that other secondary score, they do
get tight.
Panic. You're right. I mean, listen, we know – I got to get this out of the way. We all know Tatum and Brown need help. It's okay to need help in this league. Everybody wants them to do it themselves, but there's actual statistical numbers that show when they get a secondary score, a third score, they don't lose. They don't lose. So for everybody who wants to say Tatum's not doing enough and Brown's not doing enough, well, I don't know. Did you see Drew Holiday tonight in his 16 points? Or Peyton Pritchard was 11 off the bench? That's 28 secondary points that helped them win games. And it's just, I'm sick of everyone saying, they need the guys got to take over. They don't have the killer instinct. They've already proven they can't win it by themselves. They got help. And now when they get it, they win. What's wrong with that?
And it's league wide, and the people don't watch other teams. You can watch Jamal Murray and Jokic go off, but if they don't have a third guy having a decent game, they lose. And case in point, last night they had Aaron Gordon go 11 for 12 from the floor or something like that, and he was the difference in the game. And tonight it was Peyton Pritchard, it was Cornette, it was kind of a group effort, it was Holiday, and they were missing that guy because Derek White didn't have it going. Horford was still off, and when those guys are off, the defense sags and clogs up the lanes, the drive lane, so it makes it harder on Tatum and Brown. And it's like it's 2-on-5 almost. So when the other guy's hitting, the floor spaces, but those guys weren't hitting, but they still was able to get to the line. I think the two of them combined, I don't have it in front, were they 17 or 16 out of 18? The two of them, just those two guys, they got to the foul line. They made their free throws. They rebounded the ball. They gave you 60 points. You can't blame them for anything that went down tonight. They played a good game. They played over 40 minutes. They closed that team out, and I give Tatum credit again for this. When the other man had it going, which was Jaylen Brown, he deferred to him. There it is. I'm going to find you. And when he found Cornette on the lob, he kept finding guys. He was passing the ball. Yes, he was missing some shots. He's missing some deep fades, but he was still looking for his teammates, and they responded. And you got to give them all credit. Jaylen Brown closed them out tonight, and that was all. That's what you expected. You knew it was going to be a dogfight, and that this Cavs team wasn't just going to lay down. And I seen a clip of Forsberg early on NBC Sports Boston, and as soon as the news came out, that Mitchell was out, he shook his head and said, "Now I'm scared of this game because I know other players are going to step up and they're going to have a burst, and can the Celtics withstand it?" And they did. They took their best shot and they got him tonight. A much needed win.
Cavs played their asses off. They were shorthanded. Every single transition basket they hit, Garland gave them 30. LeVert enters the starting lineup, and they played well. Like, I actually like the way the Cavs played tonight. They didn't give up, no quit whatsoever. And yes, they did put both Brown and Tatum in some situations where they turned the ball over. But there was this period somewhere in the fourth quarter where the Celtics could not hit a shot, and I'm looking back at the numbers right now. The Celtics made 6 field goals in the fourth quarter combined. Mm-hmm. And the last field goal that they had was a Tatum bucket that he went to the basket. It got tipped out of his hands. He grabbed it right back and went up for a layup. That was a 5-point game at that point.
Yeah.
Put him up a little bit more, and then you just mentioned some of the things that Tatum was doing well. He ended up becoming the point guard. It wasn't iso ball. It was spreading the floor, and it's something that Joe Mazzulla said after the game. The spacing was there, and if you look, Tatum penetrates the foul line. Brown's man comes over to double. He passes it to Brown, but before the ball gets there, Brown bumps into the official. Then catches the ball on a wide open 3 and slams it home. Gets slapped in the chest like a Ric Flair, woo, and he's like, woo, and then he was chirping at the official for getting in his way. But Cerrone, it's the first time in a big clutch situation where I saw Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown almost playing a 2-man game, and it was beautiful, and it was the dagger in the wind tonight.
It was, and they played off each other well. And this is 2 games in a row. It's been the same thing, same formula. Shot attempts are the same, assists almost the same. It's something they're seeing in the Cavs defense and their strategy. And it's a reason why everybody's production is almost identical. 2 games in a row on the road, everybody's almost doing the same thing and impacting the game the same exact way because they're picking on something that they're seeing or something that they're studying, and Brown and Tatum are seeing it. Now, if Horford and Derek White just shoot their average, this thing is over with. Mm-hmm. And that's the only thing missing. And that's the only reason why Tatum's percentage or Brown, you see him go, everything's tight in the lane. It's just because those guys aren't really hitting their shots right now anyway. But I think they'll hit them once they get back home. But even with that, with them things being tight, you see Tatum go to drive, everybody collapse. I'm going to kick it out to Brown. And he was almost celebrating before he released it because he knew that was going in. And again, another dagger. The only thing I complained about, it was like 40 seconds left. Celtics got the ball right back. I think it was a steal or turnover or something. And Tatum is sprinting down the sideline like Jerry Rice. And Holiday has it in the middle. It's a 2-on-1 break. And I'm like, just throw it out the head. You get a layup and put this thing over with. And Mazzulla started screaming at Holiday to run a play. And they ended up with a shot clock violation instead of a 2-on-1 break. That drove me crazy, but that was the only thing I could really complain about in that game because they did what they were supposed to do, and they ended up winning that one.
The Celtics had 14 turnovers tonight. It was a sloppy second half. Things were very different compared to the first half for the Celtics tonight. It wasn't clean in the end. They made it hard on themselves. All the whatever you want to use for tonight, they got the win. They went on the road and got the win, but they were carried by their stars tonight. So I hope people acknowledge that. Brown and Tatum led the way in a potential big road win and now setting up a potential closeout game. Do you credit them or not? And I want to lead off there, Cerrone, at 617-779-0985. It was ugly. They made it hard on themselves. They turned the ball over 14 times. They hit 6 shots in the whole fourth quarter. They won the game and were led by their stars. Are you happy enough with that? Because you know what, Cerrone? I am, and I use the analogy of pizza. I don't care how the pizza's made. I don't care. I don't care what toppings you put on it. If you put cheese in the crust, I don't care the temperature. Deliver the pizza. And that's what they did tonight.
Yeah. They get 60 and 20 rebounds from your stars. And they got to the free throw line 18 times on the road. That's not an easy thing to do in the NBA. To get your 2 stars to get to the free throw line that much, and they made their free throws. All these things that we complain and cry about, nervous about when it comes to Brown and the foul line, he made his free throws. Tatum, 100% from the last 2 games from the line on the road. 33 and 33. He had 25 the game before that when everybody complained about him. They are doing what they need to do to beat this team. This Cavs team won 48 games. They probably would have won. I mentioned they probably would have won 50, 55 games if Donovan Mitchell played the whole season. But this team, the Cavs make you play sloppy. They play defense. This is what they do. It's Mobley. It's the big bodies. Allen's usually the second big body, but he wasn't there. But Dean Wade was the big body tonight, and I thought he played good defense. This is what they do. They make you look sloppy, and then they close you out with Donovan Mitchell or Garland. Garland was trying to do it tonight by himself, but he really couldn't. The Celtics took their best punch, and they stood their ground, and they got a win. Every playoff win is not going to be perfect, and they've never have been in NBA history. There's always going to be tough games with high turnovers, but if you can win those games, that says a lot about your team and the team's character.
I had to refresh the page because it says the Celtics stars on the 98.5 thesportsup.com website and Twitter. The Celtics stars stepped up to help the Celtics hang on against the Cavaliers on Monday night. Wow! What a headline! What a headline. Giving credit to the 2 stars of the team for winning? Wow.
It's all that matters. I don't care if the score was 10-9.
Don't care.
As long as you win the game.
You won back-to-back games on the road in a tough game tonight. And granted, without Allen and without Mitchell, it wasn't convincing. Okay, they got it done. They got it done. They are 1 win away from the Eastern Conference Finals. 1 win.
That's it. Wednesday, you resting. You win Wednesday, you're chilling. And you're hoping the Pacers and Knicks push it to 7. And both of those teams look like they're burned out already. You let them 2 beat each other in the head, but you have to go out there and close them out at home on Wednesday and send a message.
I got a number on Donovan Mitchell and how many games he's missed this year, because I think the Cavs were used to playing without him tonight. So
I think so. Yeah.
Don't give me that angle when we're here till midnight tonight. So I'm trying to keep it. It's a nice win, Cerrone. I don't want to, I don't want to go 0 to 100. I'm going to keep it right around 60.